Go.
There you go.
Alright guys, welcome back to another episode, a very special episode of It's About Time. You guys know me, I'm Jared, and of course, my partner in crime, Drew. Drew, where are we today?
We are on new location of my new house in New Jersey. And today we have, like Jared said, we have a very...
Oh, give them your address, your social security, give them all the info.
We'll give them everything. But first, we're going to give you a proper demonstration of our first episode. We told you all about...
Okay, so here's what we're doing. Before we get into this, let's get into what's on the wrist before we do anything. I just ordered a new watch this week. It should be coming in next week.
Sandra?
I'm wearing my handy dandy Orient Monarch, which I actually just so happened to use this little machine, which we're going to tell you guys about to test it. And it turns out that we're actually water resistant enough to at least take this in the pool, maybe even the ocean. It's water resistant to at least 5 ATM. So we're going to show you guys how to do that. Drew, what's on your wrist?
Well, what's on my wrist? I'm going to go with the Orient tonight. And two, I haven't brought this out for you. This is what's called a perpetual dual calendar. And what's unique about this watch is you can see the entire month, okay, on the entire watch. And all you would have to do is turn this bar up here and it would rotate days. So you, again, as the months change, the days change.
Drew, what's the water resistance on this watch, just so we know ahead of time?
This one is 5 ATM. What's unique about this is half the watch is automatic, is it's telling dual times, and half the watch is quartz, which is over here. So it has two movements in one watch. Orient did a really nice job of doing that in a perpetual calendar case. And as Jared said, it is up to 5 ATM.
Well, we're about to test
so they
this.
say.
Now, I just did my watch. We just did a test run, so we made sure we knew how it went. So, what's this? Oh, my handy camera woman was asking what this is. This is what we like to call a water pressurizer tester machine for a watch. What this does is that this is a vacuum sealed cylinder, and we have it filled to the fill line. And what's going to happen is that once we put the watch in and then we pull this lever down, you guys are going to see there's going to be a little meter down here, and that's going to raise the atmospheric pressure, which in turn is going to raise the water level. Most people think like, oh, you just take your watch down to a certain depth, but it's not. Well, Drew, explain to them what affects the resistance on a watch.
Well, it's like Jared said, it's defined by pressure. Okay, so as the pressure inhibits the watch as you go farther down into the water, the seals that are inside of the watch are pressure tested to a certain depth. So most watches out there are 3 ATM. But the more expensive you go, as we said in the first episode, 5 ATM, 10 ATM, 20 ATM, the farther down you can go, it's called what used to be called waterproof. Now it's just called water resistance up until a certain point. Because after you get past that depth, like a submarine, think of it like a submarine. As the submarine goes deeper and deeper, the pressure gets greater and greater. If it goes past a certain point, the whole thing collapses. Same thing with a watch. The gaskets will collapse after a certain point, and then all the water rushes into the watch and ruins the watch.
That's why you have to do a pressure test every once in a while. And obviously we're going to do it here. So here's the first step. Once first of all, you get one of these machines from eBay. Drew, how much did you pay for this one?
This one went for about $145,
which is very reasonable.
Around that range. There are two types of machines. This is the least inexpensive model. They go for anywhere between $150 and $200. And then there's the other ones which don't actually use water. It actually uses a micromillimeter of pressure to test it. And those run for about $4,000.
Oh, and by the way, on a side note, not only did this watch pass with flying colors, actually we went a little bit past 5 ATM.
Absolutely.
Passed with flying colors, but it actually cleaned it.
Yes.
Really, really well.
It did indeed.
So, I'm actually going to give a shout out to the watch store that I work at, Arlogio in the Short Hills Mall. My manager, Ron, one of the things we were talking about, I think it's actually a smart idea to get one of these machines. That's going to bring customers like crazy.
Absolutely.
This
Live
is actually
demonstrations with this is so cool.
So,
yeah.
wait till you see what happens. So, here's the first thing that you do.
This is what you do. Somebody comes in the store, is my watch 5 ATM?
That's a great question. I have a good idea. We have a machine right over here, which is going to be able to test that.
Get out your wallet.
Oh my God, can you believe it?
Well, credit cards, we accept all forms of payment.
$50 per test?
Oh,
we can do it.
Let's do it.
So, yeah, actually, it's going to be $10 per.
And how,
per
sir, do
ATM.
you test it?
Well, very easy. First thing that you do is you want to unscrew the caps here and just slip them down. Okay? Then we're going to take off this little handy dandy cap. We're going to place the watch right inside. Always make sure that your chamber is filled up to the red fill line. We're going to place that right in there.
Almost
It's going to be beautiful.
Mr.
You know,
Wizard.
it's almost like a magician going into a
Mr.
chamber.
Wizard episode.
So you want to make sure that the knobs are really nice and tight on this. Give them a few turns. As we can see, the watch is really nice and submerged. There's obviously no bubbles or anything like that coming from the case, which means that nothing is loose right now. Not seeing any evidence of water being inserted into the watch. So we're going to have Drew pump that lever all the way to 5 ATM. I'm going to hold the machine while
Here's
he
the
does
lever
it.
over here.
So, yeah, we're going to have you focus on this part here.
And as you pump, you can see, there you go.
And
It's past 1 ATM.
So now, as that's going up, see how the water level's going up right here? That means that there's more air being pumped into the chamber. Again, no bubbles surrounding the watch, which means that everything is still airtight. There's no issues whatsoever. And as you start to pump it, it starts to get a little harder to do.
It does indeed.
But the water level continues to go up. There's still no bubbles around the case. And once Drew gets to 5, or maybe a little bit, after 5, which is what I do with my watch, we're going to do a timing, and they say to wait 3 minutes once it reaches the maximum level.
Okay.
Are we at 5?
We're at 5.
All right, so I'm going to hit start, and the timer's going to be going. And right now, there are currently no bubbles that are coming from the case at all. There's no bubbles coming from the chamber at all, from the watch itself, which means that the seal is very tight within the watch, and there's no nothing loose, no air is getting through. You would notice issues if there were bubbles coming from anywhere on the watch. It's kind of like, once you go underwater with anything and bubbles start to come from it, that means that there's too much pressure and it's protruding.
And while this watch is being water tested for these 3 minutes, it's a great time to remind you that this is our last episode until our 4th of July special. We were supposed to
We're doing literally, don't forget, an episode a day.
Right. And we were supposed to do the Quartz Revolution tonight, but again, that got pushed back. Just like the Watch Box episode got pushed back about 3 or 4 times.
Yep.
Because this just came, we had to play with our fun new little toy. So.
Oh yeah, and also, by the way, just as a little side note, when you do put the watch in, always make sure that your crown is all the way in. If your crown is out, goodbye.
And if you have a screw down crown, make sure it's screwed in.
Make sure everything is tight before you put it into, again, this is a small chamber. You can see how much the water level just went up past that red line, just from squeezing the pressure into it. So, which means that right now, the watch is being tight.
This pressure is equivalent to being, what is it, 330 feet?
It's
5 ATM?
No, that 330 feet is for 100 meters, I believe. Hold on, I'm actually going to double check that for you. Because I know we did an episode on that already. 5 ATM.
I'm just going to get the exact markings of this for you.
165 feet.
Right.
So right now, this watch is 165 feet below any sort of water.
330
and by the way,
ATM.
you can go swimming with that. You can go in the ocean. I mean, 6 feet compared to 165
This is like
feet.
diving material right now.
Not a problem.
Okay. So basically, definitely like us, email us
2
any
minutes.
questions you have.
By the way, how's your watch looking?
Up. So it looks pretty good right now.
Any issues with it, or
No,
I don't see any
I do
water
not
coming
see
out.
any bubbles.
Okay.
And we will be down at the shore in just a week.
Yeah.
And can you believe it?
I'm so happy that's
It's
finally
already
here.
come. I can't wait to start talking to people and
That's gonna be the fun
email
part.
your questions.
Imagine if we did this on the beach.
Oh my!
Wait, we could charge people.
This is our little
We
toy.
could charge people.
Yes, we could. We could actually make money off this crap. So, we really do appreciate everybody who has emailed their questions, and we will get to also how we both got into watches.
That's a good one.
Yes, I got questions on.
I do owe a lot of
when
credit
did you get into
to,
watches?
to this guy, I will say.
I do have to tell you, mine became at a very early age. I'll tell you that story as well. But
So
right now,
I have some
we're
good
approaching that
news.
3-minute
We're,
mark at
5 more seconds.
2:55.
And by the way, the reason why they say to wait 3 minutes, because that's the amount of time that it takes
And
for
we're
the
past
water to surround it and possibly protrude it. So I'm gonna have Drew hit this nice white button to release all the pressure.
There you go.
You're gonna see some bubbles come up, maybe a little bit. Actually, no bubbles at all. Well, there was like
There's
one.
the bubble
There was
right
like
there.
one
That's
bubble,
from the
whatever it
pressure.
was.
And